For Gadsden, Alabama, Steve Grissom, the early dreams of being a motorsports competitor took time to focus. What seemed an easy black or white decision gradually evolved into living color as he pursued his initial goal of collecting that first Busch Grand National win. Then the vision expanded as this Alabama youngster's dreams continued. Today, that dream becomes reality as he will be named 1993 NASCAR Busch Grand National Champion. There were people in Alabama a few years ago who questioned this young man's sanity when he spurned some offers from some of the best college football programs in America to become a race driver. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and today that decision made by young Steve Grissom a few years ago pays off. And Steve, a special afternoon for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, it sure is, Jerry. I tell you, it's kind of been an uphill deal for us, but my hat's off this team. They worked super hard. Channel Lock's been behind us, and the team's worked hard, and that's what's got us in the position we're in.
With the championship in the bag, how about the race today?
Our whole deal right now is to try to catch that 60 car and break his string of winning the races, but without the pressure of the points and stuff, it's going to be an enjoyable day, and we can run as hard as we can and have fun with it.
That's the champion, Steve Grissom. Now, Batesville, Arkansas's Mark Martin will start on the pole today for the 10th time in his career. But you might say his Busch Grand National season has been a good news, bad news story. The bad news for Mark Martin's Busch Grand National team is that they have failed to finish 6 races in 1993. The good news is that every time they have finished, they have won. That translates into a phenomenal 7 wins in just 13 starts. How incredible is that? Even when he has been mired back in the field, his runs to the front have been absolutely spectacular. And look at Mark Martin who tries to move to the inside of Tom Peck, Delco Remy Chevrolet.
It's for 14th position he's running at now, Jerry, so he has picked off about 20 cars since the green flag dropped.
But you're riding with Mark Martin, who waves goodbye to Robert Presley and Tracy Leslie.
And here is Miss Darlington. And you're right. I'm 6 feet tall, and you're how tall?
6'2".
6'2".
Yes, sir.
I can't wait till Mark Martin wins this race. He's going to be about right here on this lovely thing.
Coming out of turn 4, it'll be checkered flag. This time by, can Mark Martin hold on? 5 car lengths, 4 car lengths, and Martin will take the victory.
Well, Mark, I want to introduce you to Miss Southern 500, Cindy Lewis. Cindy, come on and say congratulations to Mark. What do you think, Mark?
Pretty tall.
Pretty tall.
Well, it's been a very tall order for the Busch Grand National regulars when this race car has been in the field. 7 wins on the season, all in this race car. And Mark, is that the key? Is this the best race car you guys have?
Yeah, it really is, John. Just a great race car, and every time we take it out, it seems to run really fast. Last year, we broke a lot, and over the winter, we figured out how to fix the things so that we could see this Winn-Dixie car in victory lane.
Well, when they figured things out, Jerry, they have figured it out very well. The last 5 races that Mark has entered in the Busch Series, he has won. John, this is the 28th and final stop on the $6 million NASCAR Busch Grand National Tour for 1993. So stay tuned. The Slick 50 300 is next. The world's leader in motorsports coverage is pleased to welcome you to round 2 of our Triple Championship Weekend. Today from Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Slick 50 300. Now to call the play-by-play for this segment of Triple Championship Weekend, here's Bob Jenkins.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Hi, everyone. As was the case yesterday in round 1, the championship is already decided. However, there's a lot at stake for other drivers. We're going to show you the top 20 in points. Notice in the top 5, Ricky Craven is in fourth, but only 45 points out of second. The second 5 are separated by a total of 111 points. As a matter of fact, within the top 20, no less than 15 positions could change today depending on finishing position. And of course, each position you move up is worth a little more money. The lineup for this race was actually determined last March, a long time ago. And Ned and Minnie, that means a lot of changes have taken place, and the lineup is jumbled.
Yes, it really is, Bob. Hard to believe, but 30% of the drivers in the field today are in cars they didn't qualify here for the Slick 5300 here this afternoon. As a result, they have to go to the rear of the field.
And look at Earnhardt. He's passing this race because of the championship tomorrow. Neil Bonnett's going to take over. Ernie Irvin not in the 4-car anymore. Jeff Purvis takes over. Dennis Setzer has replaced Robert Presley. We go to the next page, and we'll find Presley has taken over for Rick Mast. Phil Parsons has bought the ride that Dave Mader had. Joe Ruttman is out. Randy LaJoy is in, and the ASA driver, Johnny Benson, is now taking over for the Jack Sprague car. And there's a last page. Davey Allison, his car has been driven by Hutch Strickland and Coach Jerry Glanville. We see him. He's busy this weekend, so Ronald Cooper's going to drive the car.
And add to that, Joe Nemechek and rookie Tim Fedowa crashed their cars in practice here on Friday, so they got to go to the rear. Well, we don't have a championship battle to be excited about here this afternoon. The excitement is going to come from all of these drivers, many of them good ones, capable of winning this race, starting in the back of the pack. Bob?
All right, thank you very much, guys. The field is down on pit road, setting the scene for what is promising to be a very exciting Busch Grand National race. An ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. The cars begin to roll off of pit road for a couple of warm-up laps before the green flag for the Slick 5300 Busch Grand National race. And Anheuser-Busch Aerial Ambassador Bud 1 airship, being powered by twin Porsche 930 engines, is above and providing the overhead shots. Now, Atlanta Motor Speedway is a 1.522-mile oval. The pole speed was 174.2 at a time of 31.4 seconds. We'll go 197 laps. And there's a look at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It is, for the most part, all turns. Turns 1 and 2 are banked at 24 degrees. Down the backstretch, it is banked at only 5 degrees. And the length of the backstretch is just over 1,300 feet. Same as turns 1 and 2, turns 3 and 4, also banked at 24 degrees. The pits, by the way, are only on the front straightaway here. And the front stretch also banked at 5 degrees and the same length as the back stretch.
And you talked about being all corner. You're right. The turns are over 2,600 feet long, where the straightaways just over 1,300 feet. So the turns twice as long as the straightaways.
Okay, let's take a look at the starting lineup now for today's race. The pole sitter is Mark Martin from Batesville, Arkansas, in the Winn-Dixie Ford. Bill Elliott alongside in the Budweiser Ford, car number 11. In row number 2, it's Ken Schrader in car number 52 and Ward Burton in number 2. By the way, this is the way they will line up, not the lineup that was good for last March's race. The third row consists of Todd Bodine in car number 34 and Joe Bessie in 97. Going to row number 4, it's Ricky Craven in car number 99 and the number 7 machine driven by Harry Gant. The 5th row will consist of Terry Labonte and Jason Keller. The 6th row, Mike Wallace and Chuck Bound. 7th row, Jim Bound and Michael Waldrop. Shauna Robinson and Chad Little occupy row number 8. In the 9th row, it's Larry Pearson and Tracy Leslie. Richard Lassiter and Steve Grissom are in row number 10. Grissom, of course, has already been crowned the champion. The 11th row, Ed Barrier and Hermie Sadler. In the 12th row, it's number 6, Tommy Houston, and number 08, Bobby Dotter. The 13th row, Jeff Burton and David Green, second in points right now. Rodney Combs and Tom Peck are back in row number 14. The 15th row, Neil Bonnet in number 3, Jeff Purvis in 4, Dennis Setzer in 59, Bobby Hamilton in 16. The 17th row, car number 18, Phil Parsons, and 0, Robert Presley. Car number 74, Johnny Benson Jr., and 28, Hutch Strickland back in row number 18. The 19th row, Rick Wilson in 75, Sterling Marlin in 70, Ronald Cooper in 81, Joe Nemechek in 87. He crashed earlier this weekend. And in the 21st row, it's Randy LaJoy in number 20 and Tim Fedewa in number 55. Ned and Benny have already explained how the lineup is jumbled. That sent a lot of cars to the back. But by the same token, a lot of cars have really gained because of this, because they've moved up.
Oh, yes. When those cars moved back, well, other cars got to move up, and certainly those drivers were happy about that. But I'll tell you, it's going to be tough coming from back in the pack as close as the competition is in the Busch Series. But if you got a good handling race car, then you stand a much better chance of moving up.
The entire front row, we have in-car cameras. Mark Martin, the pole sitter, carries one for us. And alongside him will be Bill Elliott in car number 11, and he also has an in-car camera. Looking back on the rest of the field, yeah.
At the back of Bill Elliott's car, and here's a camera inside Tom Peck's Delco Remy automobile as he looks up at David Green, who chased Steve Grissom all year, was not able to catch him for the championship.
But he'll be driving for the Grissom team in 1994. Tom Peck will take that ride as Steve Grissom moves on to Winston Cup racing, and Kirk Shelmerdine will move into this ride. A lot of things happening in the Busch Series.
We have seen a lot of crashes here this weekend. We saw one in the beginning, early laps at least, of the ARCA race yesterday. Several have crashed in practice and in qualifying. Has the track gotten any better over the last couple of days, guys?
Well, I think the race yesterday certainly has helped it. They've had a lot of practice laps on it since the ARCA cars came in here on Wednesday. I think that it's getting better, but I think if you get too high in the turns, that there still are problems up there.
Well, Rick Corelli in qualifying for the Hooters 500 tomorrow, about an hour ago, he crashed. So we did have a car crash today.
All right, we're looking for the green flag and the start of the Slick 5300 finale of the Busch Grand National Series for 93. Here we go.
And let me say that Rick Corelli is okay. I didn't mean to imply that he was injured.
Yeah, he's in the field for tomorrow. Here's three abreast down the backstretch, Bob, going into turn 3. Kenny Schrader wants to take the lead down on the inside.
He's going to do it, too. Schrader drives from the second row past the front row occupants. However, it's a real battle for the lead now as Schrader is on the low side, Bill Elliott up on top, and Mark Martin right behind Schrader, and Todd Bodine sticks his nose into the battle, and it's a three abreast race to turn 1. Now it goes to 2.
Oh, boy, Mark Martin started to come down, and Joe Bessie was right there. Mark saw him and didn't come down into him. Ken Schrader wrecked his car here on Friday in practice, but they were able to fix it and didn't have to go to the rear of the pack. Looked like they got it fixed pretty good.
We'll see Joe Bessie on the inside of Ward Burton. Meanwhile, race for the lead, and look, Schrader's being passed by Todd Bodine.
Todd Bodine will lead lap number 2. It's Martin pulling alongside Schrader to turn 1. Bessie and Elliott are in a battle for 4th position.
Bessie was one of the fastest drivers in practice here yesterday morning. He felt very strongly that he could go to the front, even though he blew the engine in his car. He borrowed an engine from the 2 car that Ward Burton drives for. Looks like he's working good in his car, too.
There he goes on the inside on Mark Martin. Takes the second spot away. Sets his sight on Todd Bodine.
Bessie feeling very racy here in the early going. Bodine leads him down once again. Elliott alongside Ken Schrader.
Bessie, he wants to lead this thing.
Remember
Stick his nose up there. Go ahead.
Remember Rockingham, Joe Bessie had one of the fastest cars there.
He's going to take the lead from Todd Bodine in turn number 4. Let's see if he can lead the lap. I believe he's going to as they come off the corner. It's Joe Bessie showing the way. Bodine is second, then Mark Martin, and John Kernan has a report on the leader.
Bob, I was just talking to Joe Bessie this morning. He says, man, I have to run well here today. I really need to win a race if I'm going to be back here running Busch Grand National full-time.
Oh, a crash. Crash in turn 2, John. We have 4, 5, 6 cars involved as others try to get through. Everybody seems to be rolling. Looks like Tom Peck, who carried one of our in-car cameras, is among those that crashed.
David Green, who is second in the point standings coming into this race, was one of those involved in the Slim Jim Chevrolet.
I believe that Bobby Donner may have been involved. His car over on the back stretch. An ambulance arriving. Yeah, there it is. the ambulance and the safety crew arriving at the scene of his car. And here is the replay. That's Green, Bonnet, Parsons, and Marlin there, and it happened in front of him.
Shauna Robinson just spins the car, and Phil Parsons goes in there. Also does Bobby Donner. There we see David Green spinning. That's Phil Parsons in the 18 car.
Somebody almost clipped Phil, but he got by. And here's the overhead shot, and you can see Shauna get sideways and pin Donner into the wall, and then others come along and join in.
And most of them simply had nowhere to go at the speed that they were running and as close as they were to Shauna.
It was a close call there, but whoever it was got by all right.
And you can see a lot of cars going between the cars that were spinning around. Dennis Setzer was one of those that got through that pack as well.
So on lap 5, we have a multi-car crash in the backstretch, and I believe the only car that didn't keep rolling is this one, driven by Bobby Donner. And he's out of the car and okay. He's going to walk to the ambulance, so that is the good news from that incident.
Bobby was looking forward to this race, as many others were, wanting to make a good showing here for his sponsor. They'll be back with him for the full circuit next year.
Shauna Robinson is in the pits, so is David Green, showing a lot of damage to the rear end of that car. And a replay now from the in-car camera.
Hey, look at those hood flaps come up. That's what they're trying to do, is let air that gets under the hood come out so it doesn't blow the hood off the car. Looks like they're working great.
Yep.
You see that?
That's the first time we've seen that since they installed those, how it really works, and it does work.
Work to perfection. Tom Peck pulls the car into the pits. He'll have that car checked over before we go green. We're cautioned for the first time this afternoon because of an incident out in turn number 2. Joe Bessie, the leader of the Slick 50 300. In one more lap, we'll be going back to green flag racing in the Slick 50 300 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're cautioned because of a multi-car crash. One of those behind the wall as a result is David Green, and John Kernan is with him.
Well, David Green has climbed out from the Slim Jim Chevrolet, and David, it looks like got a lot of work to do on that left rear.
Yeah, the car's tore up pretty bad, you know. 300-mile race, first few laps. I went to the outside right there, and Shauna, she was all over the racetrack and spun right there in front of us, and got slowed down a little bit. Might hit me in the left rear, but you know, I don't know. I hope Polaroid got a snapshot of that one, because that's been a problem all year long. Here we are, 300 laps in the race, and turns it around. So that's the way it goes.
Well, it's a tough way to end the year, but I know you guys are going to try and get back out to try and maintain that second points position. And you know, for your first year with this team, after taking a year off from racing and working back there in Bobby's shop, you guys had a pretty remarkable year, didn't you?
That's true, you know, and I've learned a whole lot of things, what not to do and what to do different next year. But thanks to Slim Jim, Bobby Labonte Racing, we got a new 2-year contract, and we're going to be here for a few years. And I'm tickled to death. With a little bit of luck, we might hold on to second, but it's going to be a long day.
Well, they will continue working down here in the garage area. David Green out of it for right now.
So that's the story of David Green. We are about to go green now and resume this race. It'll be on lap number 12. Joe Bessie will lead them down. Todd Bodine running in second position, and the pole sitter Mark Martin is in third as the green does come out, and we resume the competition. This is a 197-lap race. Well, we heard David Green's side of the story. Let's get Shauna's from Jerry Punch.
And fortunately, Shauna Robinson is okay. Shauna, the Polaroid Pontiac pretty well used up. What happened out there?
Well, you know, it's just a situation where the car broke loose. Just the track's guy evidently had a sealer on it. It happened a lot yesterday, and there's nothing that was intentionally spun out or anything. It's just something we were racing, and maybe some air got lifted up on the back end, but it just out of the blue picked up and broke loose. And, you know, those things happen. It's unfortunate for Polaroid, and this year's been a tough one, but we'll definitely be out there next year, and we will be up front.
And of course, we've seen a lot of drivers spin this weekend, including Dale Earnhardt and a lot of veterans. Let's check in now with John Kernan, who's standing by with Bobby Donner.
Jerry, Bobby has just come out of the infield care center and took a lick out there. They had to check you over. Everything okay?
Yeah, it was. it's just a shame. You know, we pulled the DeWalt high-performance industrial tool car up to 5th in points, and I really was looking forward to a strong run today. The car felt good. We're going to try to get it fixed, get back out there, but Shauna's car just seemed to break traction and get turned around, and just nowhere to go.
That's a word from Bobby Daugherty. He'll head back to the garage area. And a good note for Bobby, this year partial sponsorship from DeWalt. It's full-time for next year, so look for this team to be a factor.
Tough weekend for the Donner family. Bob Donner, his father, had a rather unfortunate race yesterday in ARCA competition, and now Bobby involved in an incident early here in the Slick 5300. Hey, look at Ward Burton in the Hardy's car moving up.
He's definitely on the move. Dug down right on the bottom of the racetrack and passed Mark Martin with ease.
The two cars that are running up front, Bessie and Ward Burton, who just moved into second, both have Hoosier tires on them, so it looks like they're working very good here, at least early in the race.
There are 4 cars on Hoosiers: Ward, Joe Bessie, Bobby Hamilton, and Sterling Marlin. Here's Ken Schrader and Bill Elliott, a couple of Winston Cup competitors running side by side in Grand National competition.
And there's another Winston Cup driver, Harry Gant, right behind him.
And Mike Wallace. Just ahead of those two is Michael Waltrip.
It's not that we're just picking on the Winston Cup drivers to show you them. That's the best racing right now as they jockey around 4 positions, because Joe Bessie has moved out to a pretty decent lead, and Ward Burton beginning to close in a little bit on him, but still a lot of action right in this area here.
Car, the Budweiser Ford, and the Frenchie's Mustard automobile driven by Harry Gant.
French's Mustard is going to be a sponsor on a new team that Richard Petty is formed for 1994.
In the Busch Series, that's right.
Yeah.
Rodney Cullen.
Rodney Cullen. Yep. Hey, Harry is moving to the inside of Elliott here. Mike Wallace closing in car 9.
They're back to the lead, and looks like Ward Burton is gaining on Joe Bessie.
They pulled away a little bit from Mark Martin, who is running third.
Another battle back in the field. Here's Tommy Houston, the 22 car event barrier.
Jim Bowen in car number 98, Lutz car. And there's Robert Presley in the Rick Mass Stoll car. Rick Mass qualified that car.
Speaking of Rodney Combs, there he is on the left, and Hermie Sadler in 25.
And that one car that you just saw in the picture will be the French's car next year. There it comes, that white car.
Well, that battle has settled down a little bit, but Wallace is on the move, and so is the 72 car, Tracy Leslie.
And Schrader is on the move backwards.
Right, the wrong direction.
Yeah, he's not, I don't know if after they wrecked the car, if they didn't get it back like he wanted it. At first, it looked like he was going to jump out. He did jump out there to the lead on the first lap.
That's Terry Labonte passing him on the inside. Larry Pearson. 57 is Jason Keller, and then the champion of the series, Steve Grissom in 31.
Steve moving up in the Channel Lock car. Going to try to pass on the outside.
Great overhead shot from the Bud 1 airship.
Grissom said, I don't think I'm going to try that just now.
He's not sure of that second groove, and I don't blame him at this point of the race.
What a great feeling he must have, knowing he's the champion, but I'm sure he's going to want to win this race, but on the other hand, he knows that regardless of what happens, he will win the 1993 Busch Grand National Championship. Still good battle here. Larry Pearson and Ken Schrader are wheel to wheel.
Jeff Purvis coming into the picture there in the 4 car.
Pearson and Schrader still side by side as they move through the corner, but he picks up the position, and it's still Joe Bessie in car number 97 ahead of Ward Burton. 21 laps out of 197 completed. It's Bessie, Burton, Martin, Bodine. Welcome back to ESPN Speed World coverage of the Slick 5300 Busch Grand National Race. There's your leader, Ward Burton, in the Hardy's car.
And this young man is going to take this Hardy sponsorship, and they're going Winston Cup racing next year. This entire team going to go Winston Cup racing in 1994.
This is how he got the lead from Joe Bessie.
Just moved down to the inside. Moves the Hardy Chevrolet right on along up beside. And made a nice, clean pass.
Ward Burton has won twice this year in Busch Grand National competition at Orange County and at Martinsville, and Jerry Punch has more.
Gentlemen, if Ward Burton and Joe Bessie seem pretty evenly matched up there, there's a good reason for that. Both these cars have a lot of similarities. They are both identical Chevrolet Luminas. They are both identically on Hoosier radial tires, and they both have the same engine builder, Holmes and Eames out of Richmond, Virginia. So they both have about the same horsepower and everything going for them except different drivers.
Well, they appear to be pretty evenly matched, as you indicated, as now Bessie has second position. There's Mark Martin on the right, who is in third position, and John Kernan has more on strategy for this race.
Bob, in particular, for Joe Bessie, right now that car has really picked up a bad push. They're planning on going to about lap 65 if it remains green before they pit. But what they'd like to see is a caution flag. They would like to put a rubber in the right front spring to get rid of the push. So they got their fingers crossed for a yellow flag. Let's go down to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And John, just the other problem for Kenny Schrader, who's been dropping back in his AC Delco Chevrolet. Schrader using all his experience in Winston Cup racing over the years to try to hold on to a very, very loose race car. And they slicked to this racetrack to spend all weekend. Schrader just trying to keep from losing the car and denting it up again, hoping for a caution flag to be able to make an adjustment on his Chevrolet.
Schrader started third, but has fallen all the way back to 23rd position, as there's Robert Presley in the zero car ahead of him. We've been cautioned for one period. That was a multi-car crash out in turn number 2 that put several cars behind the wall. However, one of them, David Green, has gone back in competition. And the 8 car of Jeff Burton has gone behind the wall. What's the problem down there?
Well, Bob, they've been having a fuel pressure problem. They started the race with only 2 pounds of fuel pressure. The car kept getting worse and worse. They pulled it behind the wall. They checked the filter. It was fine. Now they believe that the fuel pump is bad, so they will replace that. So Jeff's going to have a fairly lengthy stay back here behind pit wall.
Battle here between Tracy Leslie and Ricky Craven, and Jeff Burton is another driver who graduates to Winston Cup next year from the 8 in Grand National to the 8 in Winston Cup.
That's the word around the garage area. I don't know that it has absolutely been confirmed, but that's the way it'll be. So you have brothers running for Rookie of the Year honors next year.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't know. I can't think of a time that it did.
Larry Pearson takes the 92 machine to the bottom of the racetrack and passes Craven. And now Michael Waltrip will try to do the same in car 30.
And Larry Pearson will run the full circuit next year for the first time in many years. He, of course, is a 2-time champion of the series. Stanley Cool's people will be back in Max Martin's team and run the full circuit again.
Ricky Craven, 4th in points going into this race. He's had a good season.
He'll field his own cars next year. Going to have the DuPont sponsorship back with him, but he'll have his own team.
Back up front, it is still Ward Burton leading this race. Bessie running in second, and Mark Martin in third.
This is Tom Peck. He was involved in that crash coming off the second corner early on. He's a lap down right now, right behind the leader. And look at how that car vibrates. Watch the gear shifter as it dances back and forth.
Yeah. I don't know what, maybe the camera is loose, but if it isn't, that car is a handful.
And watch as it smooths out. Now, watch how smooth Mark Martin's car is as it goes through the corners.
Yeah, I believe Tom Peck has a little bit of a vibration or something in his car.
And compare that to Peck, yeah. Mark Martin, third position.
Goes right by.
Yep.
The C-Peck's car doesn't vibrate down the straightaway. It's just in the corner. It's like that the thing is got a wheel loose or toe in or toe outs off or something, making it vibrate down the straight in the corners.
That's Peck in the upper part of your screen and Martin at the bottom. Ward Burton continues to lead. Give you a field summary here and show you where your favorite driver is running at the end of 36 laps.
See several of those drivers, Bonnet, Marlin, and those started back in the back have already moved up in the top 15.
See, Bill Ellie started on the outside pole by about 20 spots.
21 cars on the lead lap right now, with those that were involved in the crash down at least 1 lap and some still behind the wall. Ward Burton continues to lead here at Atlanta Motor Speedway on Triple Championship Weekend here on ESPN, the Slick 50 300 Busch Grand National Race. The Slick 50 300 Busch Grand National Race from Atlanta Motor Speedway is on lap number 62, and Joe Bessie continues to lead. That's him on the left, and Ward Burton is second on the right.
And these guys are just driving away from the competition. As you said, we've run 62 laps, and right now we've only got 11 cars in the lead lap. So
pretty amazing, and we're nearing the time when we're going to see pit stops. Jerry, what's the strategy being talked about down in the pits?
Well, by calculation, these are V6 engines with about 450 horsepower running very small 390 carburetors, and they calculate they could probably go 75 to 77 laps. Now, that's a calculator. Now, in actuality, in last year's Busch Grand National Race, these guys remember that Jeff Gordon ran out of fuel on lap 64 in an identical engine, so it looked for the leaders to possibly pit here in lap 64 to 66, an early pit stop for the first fuel check.
We've completed 64, so we should be very close to the time that they'll be coming in.
Well, I think they'll want to go at least 100 miles so that they could make it on 2.
And there's Chuck Bound taking over that 4th spot. Taking it away from Todd Bodine. And I was told in the pit area earlier that Chuck Bound is going to lose that Nescafe sponsorship at the end of the year, so they're looking for a sponsor for 1994 for the Busch Grand National Circuit.
Jerry Punch has more about the 1990 Grand National Champion.
As Jeff Purvis makes his way down pit road for his service, that is the Kodak crew working on the right side of the Jeff Purvis car. Actually, the car is owned by James Finch, being borrowed from Larry McClure, who owns the Kodak team in Winston Cup racing. Jeff Purvis getting right side service. The first scheduled pit stop for the Daisy is out of the way. Remember, these guys are only allowed 8 tires in the pits, 8 total. On top of the 4 they started the race with. They'll look for possibly right side tire change the first time, left side the second time, and he'll put 4 fresh tires on toward the end of the race. You mentioned the Chuck Bound situation. They thought they had a sponsor lined up, and about a week ago that sponsor backed out. So they certainly have a problem here sponsor for next year. Meanwhile, they're getting ready to bring in Ward Burton. The Hardy Chevrolet should be coming on the pit road next time by.
He crosses the line right behind Joe Bessie, so we'll watch for Ward Burton to come in next time, and Bessie could also, for that matter.
Jason Keller is just going out of the pits after getting service.
Here's Sterling Marlin off the pace. He's been having problems out there and has dropped the car down to the apron of the track and is coming in. That's Sterling Marlin.
Well, Bob, he's one of those cars that's still in the lead lap up until now. So I don't know if he's out of fuel or just what the situation might be. We see him come by the car of Hermie Sadler and brings it in for right side tires and tank of fuel.
And here's Ward Burton on pit road, coming down, staying below the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. And Jerry, he's pulling in right in front of you.
And Ward Burton, a 2-time winner in Busch Series competition in 1993. Freddie Flyer on the crew now. Very important to clean the windshield. And they will likewise take 2 right side tires here under the green flag pit stop. They will change now left side tires. All 4 tires for Ward Burton. That is 8 tires they're allowed here under caution only, so they're under a green flag stop. And Joe Bessie, the leader, bringing his Chevrolet down pit road. And the crew now going to work on the right side on that car. 26.7 seconds. Let's check in with John Turner.
We're anticipating a 4-tire change for Joe Bessie. They will also make a chassis adjustment, and they will try to loosen it up. And, oh, there's a crash on the back stretch. There will be a 2-tire change. Bessie is headed down pit road. His crew alertly saw the caution flag come out. Bessie heads down pit road.
Well, there are several cars involved back there. I think that Randy LaJoy is one of them, and Hermie Sadler.
I think Hermie just come out of the pits a lap or 2 ago.
The question is, did Bessie and the the 2 car get lapped?
I would say the 2 car did, because he had made his full pit stop and he was in for 26 plus seconds. So the getting in and out, even though they had a pretty good lead, I would say that that he might be a lap down. We'll wait on scoring for that. We see the 20 car of Randy LaJoie going around here, backing into the wall, tapped it sort of lightly. Yeah, didn't hit it too hard.
And back down across the track, and Sadler spins.
Hermie Sadler had backed off the gas, or jumped out of the gas because someone had told me that LaJoie was spinning, and when he did that, it caused his car to spin out.
Here it is from the blimp. Sadler spinning off of corner number 2, and then he too slides down the track, crosses it, and narrowly misses somebody else.
And look how fast those cars are going by Sadler as he's practically stopped.
It's our second caution of the day. There is Randy LaJoie with a flat on the left front.
I think one of the rear tires was flat too, because just as he got to the wall, it looked like one of the tires blew out on that replay we were looking at.
Definitely see the left front is flat.
Yeah. Here comes Mark Martin into the pits.
Of course, Mark had taken over the lead when Betsy and Ward Burton had come in.
Timed it just right. Chuck Bound is also in, so is Todd Bodine. Larry Pearson.
And Chuck Bound did not stop at his pits.
That's what I thought. He
did not stop at his pits. I don't know what happened now. He's got to go back around the racetrack.
But Mark Martin did. He's beginning to get service on the right side of that car.
Boy, that's going to hurt Chuck Bound, because he was in second place.
We see a chassis adjustment. Just changing right sides, I guess. Filling the car up with fuel. Jeff Croxer, the jackman, waiting. The car is full of fuel. 17.7 seconds, and he's back out.
Now, Joe Bessie did come in again. Here's a replay on Bound, who I think just lost where he was in the pit area. He sees the pit stall, but knows that he's going too fast, and so he just cuts to the right and continues on around.
Wow. That is going to be costly.
Second caution of the afternoon, a spin involving Randy LaJoie and Hermie Sadler at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be right back. Tomorrow, 2 drivers. Dale Earnhardt tries to become a 6-time champion. Rusty Wallace wants to become a 2-time champion. Who will win the 93 NASCAR Winston Cup? Find out tomorrow in the Hooters 500. Live coverage here on ESPN begins at 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. Triple Championship Weekend on ESPN. Cars are lining up for a restart, but first a report on Mark Martin's pit stop from Jerry Punch.
Gentlemen, his pit stop is a prime example of the NASCAR Busch Grand National tire rules in effect. Now, they're allowed 8 total tires under caution, 2 per position. And Mark's crew wanted to save 4 for the last stop of the race if it's under caution, so they have 4 fresh tires. So they opted to change only 2 right side tires for the first caution. So the next caution, we'll change 2 left. And then the last one, hopefully, we'll have 4 left under caution to go all the way back upstairs.
That's the strategy for Mark Martin. Here comes the field off the corner. Martin is the leader of this race. The green flag flies. We're back to competition.
Now, the cars on the lead lap are down on the inside. We see Ward Burton, the second car, up on the outside. He did go a lap down on his green flag pit stop.
Now, he needs to get by these guys and get a lap back. But I tell you what, he's having trouble getting back to the inside.
Sure is.
Here goes Neil Bonnet blowing by him.
He's up to 5th. Neil Bonnet is.
Larry Pearson is in the 3rd position in the black and yellow car. Number 92.
Bessie's second to Mark Martin.
Now, fans might wonder if they saw Bessie's car in the pit just as the caution was coming out. He only changed 2 tires. They were very alert in the pit, sent him back out, so he stayed in the lead lap.
Now we show you this pit stop summary, and it shows you that Martin was first and first. Bound, however, second, back to 10th. Todd Bodine, third, was 4th. Then Pearson and Bonnet. And that, of course, was because Chuck Bound missed his pit and had to go around again.
Oh, wow, 3 abreast.
Ward Burton stuck his nose between Pearson and Bodine. And Neil Bonnet is now 3 abreast on the low side, and they head for 1, and Pearson backs out.
Fortunately, Larry Pearson backed down just a little bit.
Yeah, Larry Pearson is a good, smart race driver, and he says, hey, I don't need this. Not at this point of the race. If they were racing for the lead in the last 5 laps, maybe he would have stuck it on in there. But Burton going strong up there in the Hardy Chevrolet up on the outside. He passed those cars on the outside, now beginning to pull away.
Neil Bonnet is very impressive in that 3 car.
He's running 3rd.
So, Benny, does that mean that you might have some aspirations?
No, don't even think about it.
All right.
Now, guys, while all this was going on, Joe Betsy has passed Mark Martin for the lead and has moved away. There he is, blue and white car on the left, and here's Mark Martin trying to pass Sterling Marlin, who has made a green flag pit stop as well.
Man, Sterling just passed Mark Martin,
okay.
So could Martin's car be off the pace a little bit?
I don't know. Could be.
I mean, Sterling just passed him on the outside and drove off.
Now, one thing, see, Martin only took on 2 tires. Sterling had made a pit stop under green, and so he might have 4 fresh tires on.
I bet that's exactly it. Mark Martin, those 2 tires that Jared Punch talked about in changing on the caution flag, they're hurting him right now.
Plus, Joe Betsy had changed 2 tires under green, and then came back, I guess, and changed 2 on the caution. So he has 4 fresh tires. Plus, the fact he's on Hoosiers, which have looked very strong here today.
And Jerry Punch has more.
Guys, you don't need to ask me. You know exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. We know that Sterling Marlin got 4 tires. So does Joe Betsy. 2 under caution and 2 under green. And we all know Mark Martin only got 2 right side tires. So there's the difference. You already have the story up there. Right and left side tires and the other guys already making a difference.
And Chuck Bound pulls behind the wall.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, that's definitely a significant situation regarding the points because Bound came in 3rd and had hoped to move to 2nd.
I'll tell you what, that really saved that 44 car.
John, what's the problem down there?
They think they've broken a valve. We're headed back to the garage area now, and hopefully we'll catch up with Chuck to find out exactly what it is. But apparently a broken valve has put an end to their day.
Now, let's hope that he didn't get mad at himself for missing the pits and over-rev it on the restart.
Yep.
Sometimes that could happen, but Chuck's a good, smart race driver. He probably didn't do that, but...
Boy, Bessie is checking out again, Ned.
Yeah, he has those 4 fresh Hoosiers on him, and he is taking off. And here's Ward Burton. Now, he's passed everyone but Bessie. He needs to pass him before he can get back in the lead lap.
Joe Bessie has competed in 25 races, and he has led 3 of them. There's Neil Bonnet coming up on Mark Martin.
He certainly is setting his sights on Mark Martin at Winn-Dixie Ford.
That would be for 2nd position. Now, Sterling Marlin, number 70 on the left of your screen there, is 2 laps down.
He had been in the top 10 on the lead lap until he made a green flag pit stop just before the caution came out. And so he did go. He was about 3/4 of a lap behind when he made his pit stop, and so that did get him 2 laps down.
Well, here's a pack of cars battling for position.
Here again, the leader of this pack, Todd Bodine, Larry Pearson, Michael Waltrip, Tracy Leslie.
Now, those cars are all on the lead lap. There are 9 cars on the lead lap. Now, the 4 car back there is not. Here's Neil Bonnet trying to pass Mark Martin on the outside.
Looking to the high side off the 4th corner, but he will not attempt to pass down the straightaway at least. See what happens here in turn 1. Drops back a little bit, stays in 3rd.
Mark's car got a good run off of that turn. In fact, he runs up on the car number 70 of Sterling Marlin. Bonnet seems to be a little bit stronger through 3 and 4. Mark that last time at least.
Whoa, Bonnet! Neil Bonnet, who we were complimenting on a great job in 3rd, smacks the wall and brings it down, and Ricky Craven spins behind him.
Craven doesn't look like he's hit anything too severely. I think his car is probably going to be okay. He'll just go down pit road and continue on.
Craven, as I mentioned, 4th in the points going in, but could have moved to 2nd today. Neil Bonnet's car remains stationary at the entrance to the pits. Here it is again.
He's all alone there, and you see the back end just breaks loose all of a sudden on him, and around the Goodwrench Chevrolet goes, and he gets that outside wall. Don't know how hard. The smoke there sort of blinded us from seeing how hard he hit the wall.
Maybe we can tell on this angle. Yeah, he's running by himself, just broke loose. we've seen that a lot this weekend.
And that's exactly what's happened this week. All of a sudden, these cars just break loose as you come off the corner.
Now watch to the right. Ricky Craven should come into the frame here. He'll also be sideways. Still waiting. Well, I guess we didn't catch it. Anyway,
But
he did spin. Yeah, he did do a half spin and drove down pit road. Well, yeah, you can see that he has some damage.
He does have some damage to the left rear of the rear of that car.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't hit anything, but there's some heavy damage to the rear of that car.
Maybe he slowed down and somebody hit him and caused him to spin.
Now look at the difference in points between Chuck Bound in third and Craven in fourth. Only 2 points separated those two. Here's John Kernan.
Tell you what, the Nescafe Nest crew had pretty much given up until they looked up and saw Ricky Craven spin in turn 4. The crew sprang into action, possibly a broken valve. That's something you can change, so you guys are going back to work, trying to get back out there.
Well, they're going to see what they can do. We think we dropped the valve. We're trying to beat Craven for second in the overall points, but now that we're having trouble, I don't know if they'll be able to get it going or get it on. It's a shame. The car was running really good. Well, I got a chance. I know I don't get to say this in victory lane because I'm not going to win today, but I want to thank Nescafe and Nestea for our 5-year association. It ends today. We've enjoyed working with them. We're going to miss them. And Hensley Racing's available for a deal in '94.
There you go. Always a salesman. These guys, I mean, they sprang into action. It was incredible. The difference between depression and sudden hope.
And Neil Bonnet is out of the car and looks like he's going to walk maybe to the infield care center. He appears to be okay, and the crowd, of course, is saluting his great run that he had going before making contact with the fourth turn wall. Neil Bonnet was in third position when the accident occurred. Third caution of the day at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Slick 50 300. Cars lining up for a restart of the Slick 50 300 after our third caution period, which was brought out by Neil Bonnet. Spin and wall incident in turn 4.
Car just breaks loose, goes up and slams in the wall with the left side of the car.
And then behind, Ricky Craven also into the wall. There he is. And the word was that he may have been hit by Steve Grissom in the melee, which caused his sideways trek into the wall. Here's the replay, the restart of the race. Green flag comes out. Harry Dan, yes, the leader.
Yep, he's in the yellow car down the inside. Now, Ward Burton is back in the lead lap. He is in 9th place right now. If he can stay out there and get another caution, then he'd get himself back in position. But Harry Gant's about to pass him here right now as they go 3 wide down the backstretch. Oh, wow.
Presley, Todd Bodine, Marlin also fighting for the spot. Presley slides high on the track, and Marlin goes to the inside.
Yeah, Presley went very high. He was lucky to save that car.
So now Ward Burton, the Hardy Chevrolet, is back on the lead lap. Caution flag should come out now. He'll be right back in the race.
Todd Bodine is second. He's the red car right behind the yellow car. Harry Gant in the yellow car, number 7. Todd Bodine in the fiddle paddle, car number 34. Is in second place. Third is Mark Martin. He made a pit stop.
The 70 car that you're seeing on the screen is Sterling Marlin. He's a couple of laps now because of an unscheduled pit stop.
And has not won in Busch Grand National competition this year,
Which is very unusual.
Yes, it is. Yep. Racing behind him.
Robert Presley got very high again and got back a few more positions.
Whoa! Bodine is in the wall hard. Oh,
either something broke on that car, a tire went down or something.
He just all of a sudden shot to the outside, and oh, that car is badly damaged. But Todd, we think we saw him moving around, so I hope he's okay. A little bit of a fire under the right front of the fiddle faddle car.
The fuel pump on a 350 Chevrolet is on the right side, so I'm sure they've broken one of the fuel lines off.
Well, a bad break for Todd Bodine, a good break for Ward Burton because he was out front. Now he'll get back around.
the fire coming out of the motor. Again, I think that he has probably broken an oil line. There we see a fireman running up to the vehicle now, so.
Well, I hope Todd is okay, because this just happened so suddenly.
He goes in the corner, and the car just veers and goes straight into the wall.
No time at all to hit the brakes or react.
I mean, you go from 180 miles an hour to practically stopped.
Yeah. The angle at which he hit was fortunate, really. It's bad to hit the wall at any angle going that fast, but
he was a little higher than you normally would be going in that corner. See,
yeah,
how he was that much closer to the wall. Jerry Punch, you know anything about Todd Bodine yet?
I just spoke with Clyde McLeod, the crew chief here for the Fiddle Faddle car. He has been told by other crews that apparently as Todd went into the turn, he cut a right front tire. The right front tire went down, and that's why the car veered abruptly into the wall. They have not been able to speak with Todd Bodine by radio, but that could also be just because the radios may be out inside the car. But that's apparently the problem. A right front tire being cut down, and suddenly the impact was very violent and vicious up there in the turn. As we have a couple of cars on pit road, including the car number 2, the Hardy Chevrolet. Ward Burton back on the lead lap now. He will change right side tires. The A.T. Dillon crew, Freddie Fryer and company. Ward trying to get his 3rd win of the year. Meanwhile, a previous incident, one driver has come out of the infield care center and now standing by with John Kernan.
We know, Jerry, we've seen a lot of cars break loose in the turns, but Neil, that wasn't what we've seen this weekend. Wasn't what happened to you, was it?
No, you know, to work traffic, I had to get down on the bottom, and I was really down on the apron a couple of times, and I thought I picked something up. I heard a lot of stuff go through the car, and I told him I'm a little loose, and I cut the right front down, and it was losing air pressure, and I dropped it down the interliner going in 3, and when I did, it just turned around. It's a shame, man. For a change, I was having a lot of fun.
Yeah, but I mean, you're okay. You checked out okay.
Yeah, but now I got to go face Earnhardt. That could be the hard part.
Hey, are you okay for tomorrow, Neil?
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. I just, me and Dale's going hunting this weekend. I got to make sure he don't shoot me now.
Neil Bonnet out of the race, and now the rescue crew is still at Todd Bodine's car, and we hope that he is going to be okay. We'll be back and hopefully have a report on that in just a moment. Half a lap to go to the restart of the Slick 5300 Busch Grand National race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We are about to go green from another caution period, this one caused by Todd Bodine's terrible incident up in 3.
Apparently the right front tire just went down, Bob, and just slammed him into the wall. He had not much time to react because it happened so quickly that he hit the wall hard.
He was taken out of the car on a stretcher. He's in the infield care center, and John Kernan is also there.
Well, they just took Todd in to check him out. This is one of the finest infield care centers that you will have at any of the racetracks around the country. Now, his brother, Brett Bodine, was here, and he spoke to Todd as they were taking him inside. Todd did not talk to him, but Brett said that he did open his eyes to look at him, and he did recognize him, and that he was moving his fingers. So we're standing by waiting to get further report on Todd Bodine. Now let's go to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And I would like to also mention that you said, John, that folks at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Ed Clark and company, have spared no expense. They have the best trauma staff that you can have here from Baptist Hospital in downtown Atlanta. They are on staff inside the care center, so I'm certain Todd Bodine will get the absolute best of care from some of the best trauma doctors in the country.
Well, we wish him the best, and we'll bring you any information as soon as it becomes available. Great in-car camera shot here from Mark Martin. The team moves through, or continues to race at the front of the pack. That's Robert Presley just ahead of him.
And he doesn't have much room to move around, Bob. They're running side by side up in front of him there. There's not much room.
Ed Barrier, who was right up front running in 3rd, is off the pace.
Oh, that's too bad. He was having a great run here today in the Grease Lightning car number 22. And what might have happened, he might have clipped the wall a little bit in some of that close racing. We'll check and see, but anyway, he's off his back.
He sure is, and maybe coming into the pits. Let's see, all of a sudden he just dropped back.
Yeah, just slowed down. He wasn't even close to the wall. Yeah, close to a lot of other cars.
John Kernan, what was the problem? You know?
He had cut down a right front tire going flat on him, and we've seen what 2 other drivers had that problem. They caught it in time before running around before it could explode on him, so they'll have to change that right front tire. They were lucky that they felt it going flat.
Barrier is in. They're changing tires on the right side, but he's going to go a lap down.
Now that'll leave only 6 cars in the lead lap.
Harry Gant is the leader of this race. Michael Waltrip is second, and at the line, Waltrip edges ahead just slightly. Waltrip is to the inside of Gant, and yep, he pulls away.
And look who's up there about to battle for the lead. It's Ward Burton. After getting a lap down, making that lap up, going for the lead.
Well, Gant has gone from first to fourth. It's now Waltrip, Burton, Martin, and Gant. And Ward is going for the lead, and he's got it.
And here comes Mark Martin on the inside of Michael Waltrip, and takes that second spot away.
Now remember, Ward Burton came in and put on 4 brand new Hoosier tires. That's the only tires he has changed out of the caution, so he still has 4 more left.
There's Bobby Donner, who was involved in an incident very early in the race. He's back out there, but he's shredding parts, and I don't think NASCAR is going to like that.
No, they got a black flag in their hand down there. They'll bring him in. Bobby might not know it. His crew spotter will probably tell him.
Joe Nemechek and Joe Bessie running here with Harry Gant, and John Kernan is with Brett Bodine.
Brett, you just come out. You've spoken with Todd. How's he doing?
Well, he's awake and conscious and alert and everything. That's good news. But it looks like he's hurt his shoulder, you know, possibly like a shoulder blade or something like that. They're going to take him to the hospital and check him out. Just going to, you know, hope everything works out.
Well, that's some pretty good news right there. Everything okay? Apparently injured shoulder, and they're going to take him to the hospital to check that out, guys.
And Brett Bodine just coming off of an injury himself. Just a week ago Friday, he had that device taken off of his wrist that he has had on since September, breaking it in an accident in Dover, Delaware.
And he will start second in tomorrow's Hooters 500 outside the front row. That's the thing that many call the contraption, wasn't it?
Yeah. Wrist contraption.
Yeah.
There's Joe Bessie on his charge back to the front. He went by Joe Nemechek.
Now, Nemechek is a lap down. He is in the 7th position. He's the first car that is 1 lap down. There's 6 cars still on the lead lap.
That 59 car is being driven by Dennis Setzer from Newton, North Carolina.
And Ed Barrier has come back into the pits. Apparently went out too fast, had to come back in for a stop-and-go penalty. You can see his car on the right of the screen there coming out. So Ed has gone another lap down now.
Ward Burton leads this race. That is not the car leading the group here. That's Sterling Marlin in number 70. But Ward Burton in number 2 is the leader, and now being pressured by Mark Martin.
And I'll tell you what, Mark Martin, this is the races he's been versus the Hoosier tires, because he has the Goodyear tires on his car.
Well, they made an adjustment on Mark's car during one of the pit stops, so maybe it appears as if he has it more competitive with that Hoosier shod Hardy's Chevrolet.
Jump inside and ride with Mark here as we present the AutoZone race summary. Ward Burton has led 34 of the first 110 laps. We've had 7 leaders and 12 lead changes and 4 caution periods that have reduced the average speed to a little over 116. Joe Bessie, Ward Burton, Mark Martin, Todd Bodine, Ken Schrader, Harry Gant, and Michael Waltrip have all led at least 1 lap. And the cars that are out of the race include Shauna Robinson and others, many of those involved in the first lap incident and other incidents that we have had. Back down to Jerry Punch.
Ed Jarrett, you mentioned they made an adjustment on the Mark Martin car. That's exactly what the difference is. Martin apparently said the car was too loose, so Steve Meal and Bobby Leslie added a round of height in the rear of the car and jacked the spoiler up, pushed the spoiler up a little bit. They required a minimum of 60 degrees. They moved it up a little bit, and it's made a big difference in the car's handling in traffic.
Martin closes in now right on the back bumper of Ward Burton, headed into turn number 1. Burton appears to get through the corners better.
Watch Mark Martin as he accelerates off this corner and closes up right on the back bumper of Ward Burton.
Both of them have passed Sterling Marlin, by the way, and put him another lap down.
And Ed Barrier's back in the pits. He got another black flag. Apparently went too fast out of the pits. Ed take a little bit easier this time.
He's having a heck of a time.
Once again inside the Winn-Dixie Ford as he tries to take that lead away from Ward Burton's Hardy Chevrolet.
Mark Martin has won 7 times, Burton twice. Mark Martin's victories have come at Rock Rockingham, Richmond, Michigan, Darlington, Richmond, Charlotte, and Rockingham. Right now, Martin is second, Burton is first, Joe Bessie third, Michael Waltrip fourth, and in fifth is Larry Pearson. Good Saturday crowd on hand here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, enjoying the Slick 5300 Busch Grand National finale of 1993. The field aligns for a restart after another caution period, this one involving Ronald Cooper on the backstretch. He's okay. In fact, he's still in the race. And now we get the green flag, and on lap number 128. The leader is Mark Martin. And gentlemen, this caution period comes at a very interesting time because everybody has come in and topped off, but they're right on the line as to whether they can finish the race if we go green.
Yeah, I think it will be close for some. Be very interesting to see who can go the rest of the way and who can't.
Well, Mark Martin went to the first caution flag without any problem, where the the 97 car had pitted already. So
there's the pit summary showing you that Ward was the leader and came out second. Martin second, came out the leader. Bessie from third to sixth. Waltrip fourth to third, and Gant stayed in fifth. Jerry Punch has more on Ward Burton.
Well, gentlemen, Ward pitted on lap 123. Now, we got a 197 lap race. That means he has to make it 74 laps. The most he has run today is 68. Their calculations say they can make it 73 and change. 73 and change might be coughing and sputtering coming off of turn 4 toward the checkered flag.
That is close. Joe Bessie there in number 97 came in and topped off on lap 126. Bessie now moves to the inside of Michael Waltrip and passes him with ease.
Takes third position away. Now Harry Gant coming up on the inside of Michael Waltrip. Michael maybe pushed up a little bit in that turn and going to cost him 2 positions.
Yep, Gant takes the spot away, and we go to John Kernan on pit road.
Joe Bessie's crew think they can go 75 laps. That means they are okay. They'll make it by 1 lap. And another thing, the 2 leaders, correct me if I'm wrong, but they did not take on tires, right? Bessie did. He took on 4 tires, 4 scuff tires. Now, that could play out okay unless there's another caution, because Bessie has already used his 2 tires per position under caution limit. So he's hoping for a green flag the rest of the way.
And Larry Pearson moves to 5th spot, and he, too, passes Michael Waltrip. Up front, it is still Mark Martin. The battle for second is shaping up. Bessie closes in on Ward Burton.
With those 4 new tires, he's headed towards the front. Joe Bessie in the car number 97.
Bessie's best finishes this year have been at Rockingham, where he was 3rd, and Orange County, where he was 4th. This driver is from Scarborough, Maine. And he's got 2nd from Ward.
They found something on this car the last couple of months, because in Rockingham, he was one of the best cars there, if not the best car. And look how he just drives underneath Mark Martin and takes the lead away.
Man, oh man, Bessie is the leader.
He's had 3 different crew chiefs on that car this year, I think. And he's got a guy working with him now that helped him to win some Busch Grand National North races. They seem to work well together, and so maybe that's the reason he's going so much better.
And Dr. Jerry Punch has a comment.
Yeah, you're exactly right. This is the 3rd crew chief they've had for Joe Bessie. This is Bob Hayden, who was with him up north when he finished a runner-up in the Busch North Championship in 1992 by just 6 points behind Dick McCain. He had an outstanding year up there, was Rookie of the Year earlier. And since Bob Hayden has come on board, Bessie has gotten better and better. And as you heard Benny Carson say, he finished 3rd in Rockingham a couple weeks ago with some pretty good cars.
Well, he's just hoping right now there will not be another caution, because he figures he's in the position that he needs to be. Certainly up front, that's where you need to be.
Pole sitter Mark Martin runs 3rd in this Slick 5300, which now is 133 laps old. We'll take another break and be right back with more Busch Grand National Racing from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here's the green flag. We're back to racing in the Slick 5300. On lap 141, the green comes out.
Joe Bessie is the leader. Larry Pearson is in second. After those pit stops, apparently he didn't stop. If he did, only took on fuel. And in third place is Mark Martin, and they're going to jumble up, Bob, as they head into turn 3.
Larry Pearson is going to get the lead from Bessie, and Mark Martin is working the high lane. We'll jump in the car with him.
Joe Nemechek out front has gotten back in the lead lap. He is in 7th position, 6 cars on the lead lap. Nemechek now back on the lead lap. If he can stay out there and get a caution. Bessie is slowed. He's down on the inside a little bit. I don't know if he has a problem or what the situation is, but he is definitely not up to full speed.
Well, he went from first to third. It's now Larry Pearson at the front of the field.
I think that Mark Martin got on the outside of him and took his line away as he came off turn 4. But now he's coming back on the inside. No, Mark, take this spot away.
Here's Ward Burton, who's still moving up. He's on the high side of the 0 car, driven by Robert Presley.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Bessie just had to back off there a little bit. Got in the wrong position, had to back off for a little bit, which was probably the smart thing to do. Here comes Ward Burton up on the outside of him now. Ward has those 4 fresh tires on. Trying to make the high groove work for him. He's come awfully close there. Martin going for the lead.
Martin goes to the inside of Larry Pearson and does indeed pass him. And now look at this battle for 3rd position. And Burton is still side by side with Bessie off of 4.
And Jerry Punch had already talked about that they have the same engine builders, have Hoosier tires, both driving Chevrolets. So those cars have been pretty evenly matched today. Now Burton gets the advantage.
And Nemechek goes a lap down again as Mark Martin passes him, and Larry Pearson will try to do likewise off of 2.
Nemechek got a lap down in a long run at the first. His car just was not handling too good. It's been running good since then, but he was that lap down and was not able to get it back. He did for a moment. Here comes Ward Burton taking over second.
Yep, down to the inside of Pearson.
And Michael Waltrip was right on the back bumper of Joe Bessie. There, that yellow Pennzoil Pontiac. Waltrip.
I tell you, Michael Waltrip was the one who needed that last caution. He was headed backwards. They made some adjustments on the car, changed the tires, and look at him go now, coming down on the inside of Pearson. Pearson didn't make a pit stop, I don't believe. At least he didn't change tires, and that seems to be hurting him a little bit now.
Michael Waltrip moves to 4th position, so now it's Mark Martin, Ward Burton, Joe Bessie, and Michael Waltrip.
So there's the 0 car of Robert Presley. He's come up there. He has passed the Joe Nemechek car, which puts him down up into the 7th position. He is 1 lap down also.
All that battling for position behind him has allowed Mark Martin to pull away from Ward Burton.
They might not have raced long enough for him, though.
Yeah, Ward is definitely a fast car.
He is definitely a fast car, and so is Joe Bessie, an AC Delco car that's in 3rd place right now, the blue and white car.
Well, we saw a great ARCA race yesterday that was won by Jeff Purvis, and this one has turned out to be a great race also. And of course, tomorrow is the biggie, if you will, the one that will determine the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship between Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. Stay with us. We'll be right back for Busch Grand National Racing. Under caution once again here at Atlanta, our 7th of the day. This one was caused by the number 08 car of Bobby Dotter. Lost an engine and has been shucking parts all day, and he shucked another one before he got it into the pits. And then we had some pit stops as Michael Waltrip and Larry Pearson and Harry Gant and Joe Bessie all came down for some work under this caution period.
And Joe Bessie had 2 tires left to change on the caution flag. I didn't realize he changed right sides now. Back on the racetrack with fresher tires than Mark Martin or the 2 car of Ward Burton.
Let some air out of the right front on the Harry Gant car. Now we are back under green on lap 158.
We see Joe Nemechek up there again. He is still the 7th place car. He's trying to get back in the lead lap. Tough assignment, though, when you got Mark Martin under you.
Number 2 in 2nd position. Larry Pearson is in 3rd. They come around turn 4 side by side again as Mark Martin tries to keep Joe Nemechek a lap down, but Joe won't give up.
He's probably not as concerned about Nemechek as he is about that 2 car coming up on top.
And now Burton looks to the inside off of corner number 2. He won't make it 3 wide at that particular point. And in fact, he falls back behind Mark again.
Well, he pinched the car down coming off of that turn and had no choice but just to work the throttle a little bit, but he's right back there again now.
Nemechek's able to get by Mark Martin, and now he's just hoping for a caution flag.
Jerry Punch has been down to the pit area of Ward Burton. Jerry?
And Ward Burton's crew and Ward would like to see a long green flag run down to the checkered flag because Ward says it takes a while for his tires to come in. Although he's beginning to make a move right now and tries to get inside of Mark Martin down the back straightaway. Ward says his tires stay consistent, whereas some of the others go away. He falls back in line and he'll bide his time. If we stay green, Ward thinks he can win it at lap 197.
He's going to try to take the lead from Martin here. Martin slides up the racetrack, and yes, Ward Burton goes to the front.
Looks like Mark Martin's car might have gotten loose up in that corner because he lost considerable distance to 2 cars, not only Ward Burton, but also the 70 car of Sterling Marlin. And look at Joe Bessie, the AC Delco right on the back bumper on Mark Martin.
Yeah, Mark's got Joe to worry about now for second position as Sterling Marlin here tries to get the lap back from Ward Burton. He goes inside of Ward.
Now, he's 2 laps down, Bob. He lost him during the green flag pit stop early in the race. He had run with the leader since then, but simply has not been able to make it. At times, he's been able to get out in front of him, but he hasn't been able to hold it for any long period of time. Talking about Joe Bessie, he came out of the pits in 6th place, and here he is already up there battling for second right now.
But Martin is going to go battle for the lead again with Ward Burton as he falls in behind Sterling Marlin, and yep, Mark Martin goes back to the front.
Using the draft off that car of Sterling Marlin's to take the lead. Here comes Ward Burton back on the outside.
And Joe Bessie is right behind Mark Martin. Good stuff here.
Boy, what if that was the last lap? It could be this way at the last lap. Who knows?
Another field summary showing you where your favorite driver was running last.
Oh, and Mark Martin spins.
Boom, into the wall.
Stay up okay now. Come down and let other cars get by. It's amazing. We've seen a number of spins here right in the middle of the pack, and everybody gets by.
And we see Mark Martin moving around. He's calmly taking the steering wheel off.
Here's the race back to the caution flag now. It's going to be Ward Burton coming down. Sterling Marlin does get 1 of his 2 laps back. And Ward Burton is the leader.
Wow.
Well, another crash has cost a competitor. In this case, it's Mark Martin.
Okay, you got a car coming up on the outside. That takes the air off of the outside of there. There's the 97 car right behind him taking the air off the rear. He just didn't have much down pressure on the back of that Winn-Dixie Ford, and it simply got out from under him.
And from the Bud 1 airship, we'll take a look overhead, flying about 1,000 feet in the air. Here's how it looked.
See what Ned's talking about. The 2 cars on the outside. The 97 car on the behind the bumper just takes it downforce off the back of that Winn-Dixie Ford, and around it goes and backs in the wall.
I think the 2 car up on the outside did more damage as far as taking the air away than the 97 car back there did, and Mark there wasn't anything he could do about it. He really was in a position, and round she went.
Well, Mark Martin is okay. He got out of the car under his own power, took a look at it, walked to the ambulance. He'll have to go in for the mandatory checkup. Now, Todd Bodine has been taken to Georgia Baptist Hospital for x-rays on his shoulder. No further update than that. He is being looked at. Phil Parsons will drive his Winston Cup car in the final practice this afternoon and could run it tomorrow. Here's from Mark Martin's in-car camera.
See those flaps come up once again behind the hood?
Yep.
That seems to be working very well.
So Mark Martin is on the way to the infield care center, but he is okay. He's out of the race, however, as we are once again on caution with 164 laps completed in. Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Dr. Jerry Punch back at Atlanta. We're about to go green in 1 more lap from a crash that involved Mark Martin. Ward Burton is out front. Benny, see if you can talk to him on the radio.
Hi, Ward Burton. This is Benny Parsons up ESPN. You read me?
Benny, I got you.
Hey, what are you going to do to keep that 97 car behind you for the next 30 laps or so?
I tell you what, that's a real good question. He's running awful good. They seem to run a little bit better than I do. And this Hardy Chevrolet, when I got my tires cold, I'm just hoping we'll go the rest of the way on the green.
Is there anything you can do? Can you run a different line or anything to make your car better?
I've really been running low now to try to free it up a little bit. Freddie took a little bit of fight out of it and it helped us some. I just see a lot of green flag laps and it seemed like the tires work a little bit better for me.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
That's Ward Burton, and now we go to John Kernan, who's with Mark Martin.
Mark, who's being checked out. Mark, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Boy, I tell you what, I'm just thankful I didn't get hurt there. You really run fast, and this concrete around this place is hard, but you know, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. Maybe we'll have another shot at it. We were in contention today, and the Winn-Dixie car was fabulous, handled great. The Goodyear tires were working good. Those guys were going to be hard to beat, and I had one on the outside of me pulling the air off of me and one behind me pulling the air off of me, and I should have just let up, but I was trying to win, so
well, that's what you do. When it's time to go, you go.
And so the streak is broken. He will not win every race he has finished in Grand National competition. We're green on lap 170. Ward Burton in the lead.
And he got himself a good jump, too. Joe Nemechek up there still trying to get a lap back. Now there are only 5 cars in the lead lap. Nemechek would be in the 6th position.
By the way, Mark Martin will start 33rd in tomorrow's Hooters 500.
A rare bad qualifying effort for him. Look for him to come up towards the front.
And you know, Mark Martin, we talked about at the top of the show that each time this year he finished a race, he won. Well, his streak still holds. If he finishes a race, he wins, but he didn't finish. He's fallen out of 7. He's won 7.
That's still a good average, isn't it?
Not too bad.
You take that. Yeah.
Here comes Bessie. And I tell you what, he is really going. Ward Burton told us it seemed like Bessie was a little faster on cold tires. It looks to me like he was right.
Yeah, and he has 2 fresher outside tires than does Ward Burton, and that might be helpful to him. They haven't run that many laps under green since he put those right side tires on.
Joe is closing in on Ward. He's now 3-4 car lengths and closing in fast.
So it's Ward Burton, Joe Bessie, Michael Walter, Harry Kent, and Larry Pearson are the 5 cars on the lead lap.
And we're getting down to it. 25 laps to go this time when they come by across the start-finish line.
Joe Nemechek running in 6th, 1 lap down. Robert Presley is 7th, 1 lap down. Dennis Setzer having a good run here today in the Alliance Truck Training Center car. He is running in 8th place. He got lapped early in the race.
Here's a driver snapshot on Joe Bessie. Started 6th, currently 2nd. He did lead this race. His lowest has been 7th. That was on lap 102, and as a matter of fact, he has led 56 circuits. Ward Burton, on the other hand, the current leader, started 4th, and he has led 58 laps. The lowest position he has been in was 14th, and that was on lap 71.
All right, here comes Bessie. He's closed up. He's on the back bumper. We're going to see who is what. These drivers probably not familiar with this Atlanta Raceway. Oh, here comes Bessie on the inside. Takes a look.
He stays to the inside of Ward going into the corner. But he'll not pull up alongside of him as they go through the turn.
Hey, Ward's car really is working good in that second group. He just stayed up the way he said. He was trying to run up there to keep the car freed up a little bit, and it certainly went through that turn well that time.
You just saw Joe Bessie's crew. This is Ward Burton's crew as they both have their eyes glued on the racetrack and their drivers.
Started saying a moment ago, these guys, when they go in turn 4, we talked about the sun yesterday in the ARCA race. These fellows not familiar with this racetrack. This is only the 2nd time the Busch cars have run here. So they're running across some serious problems late in the evening here, entering turn 3 and driving right into the sun.
Less than 22 laps to go. It's still a battle between Burton and Bessie.
Not much difference in those cars now. course, we've said already several times that the engines come from the same place, Holmes and Eames. Both using Hoosier tires. Both driving Chevrolets. As Jerry Punch pointed out, the biggest difference is the drivers. I mean, and I don't know what difference that is. They're both driving great races.
Yeah, they are of equal skill here, that's for sure.
Chris Ward has a little bit more experience on the super speedway than does Joe Bessie.
They're running different lines in the corner. Bessie's able to close in a little bit on Ward as they go in the corner. Looks like Ward is able to get that advantage back as they come off the corner.
Now just 20 laps to go, and the top 5 at this moment are Ward Burton, Joe Bessie, Michael Waltrip. Harry Gant was 4th, but he's off the pace.
Yes, he is, slowing in the French's mustard car, and apparently something has happened to the engine.
And I tell you what, that has happened so many times to Harry Gant in French's car this year.
Yep. So he relinquishes 4th position. Larry Pearson moves to 4th, and now Joe Nemechek is in 5th spot.
Well, we understand that maybe Gant might have picked back up a little bit. Maybe he has an ignition problem.
He's still out there.
Yeah.
A lot faster than he was. How about it, John? What's wrong?
Well, what we're hearing is he's running on 4 or 5 cylinders. The engine is about to let go, but Harry is radioed back in and says that he's going to try and drive it to the end. In fact, he's planning on staying out there until they start seeing smoke coming out of the car. At that time, they'll park it.
All right, so Harry Gant stays out there, although he has dropped back significantly. Ward Burton still leads Joe Bessie in the closing laps of the Slick 5300 from Atlanta. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Slick 5300. Joe Bessie in 97 now putting some heat on Ward Burton for the lead. They're side by side into the corner.
Taking a look. Oh, and they made some contact down there just a little bit.
Oh, and he spins.
Oh, no.
How many times have we seen this weekend? Joe Bessie got the lead and then lost it.
Oh, that's too bad. Going for the biggest win of his life.
Boy, oh boy. What a great run he had here today. Started in 8th position. Stayed right up there all afternoon until now.
Well, as Benny said, it looked like they touched a little bit when they went into that turn, and with Ward directly behind him, here it is again. As they go into the turn, you see it looks like the right rear of Bessie's car might have caught the left front of Ward's car, and then he comes up on the car to put a lap on the 81 car there, and air does some funny things when you get around other race cars, and they have a little bit smaller spoilers on these cars than they've had in the past. They started at Charlotte when they raised the cars up a little bit and smaller spoilers, and you see it just the back end gets out from under him. Ward does a good job of moving down to the inside.
He barely missed him, I'll tell you that.
Yep. Here's another angle.
We can see just how close these guys are. And see the 81 car, he had to move up the racetrack just a little bit. He moved up right in front of the 2 car. And
boy, that was so close.
Yeah, the air that the 2 car took off the rear spoiler took that downforce away. And it was close.
Yep, it sure was. Well, the end result is Joe Bessie has crashed out of this race and no longer is a threat to win. And now we see the medical staff there trying to extricate him from the car. We'll get a report on his health. Once again, under caution in the Slick 5300. 9 laps remain. 1 lap remains until we get the green flag. We are under caution because of Joe Bessie's crash. He had tried or was trying to take the lead from Ward Burton.
Down in turn 1, he does take the lead. He goes up right in front of Ward, and as he tries to avoid the 81 car, the slower car, and Ward comes up, takes the air off the rear spoiler, and Joe Bessie spins hits the wall and ends his day in lead. What a bitter disappointment has to be for this young man.
Oh, it has to be, and there he is at being taken out of the ambulance. They brought him back, but you can see he's standing, walking, so apparently okay, but very, very disappointed.
Yeah, he is disappointed, a little bit shaky, but it looks like he's okay. Here's Jerry Punch.
Talked about what an impressive job Joe Bessie did. Remember, he is a rookie on this series, a rookie driver, and he will finish third behind Hermie Sadler and Timmy Fedewa in the rookie points. So the Busch Grand National Tour certainly has a very bright future with young stars like that coming up.
I would imagine his mental being right now is a lot worse than his physical being right now, even though he did take a very hard blow over there. He has to be awfully disappointed because he did have a great race car. He and the crew to be complimented for a great race car this afternoon.
And I think he'll be a young man to be reckoned with in the future in this business.
Well, now Ward Burton is the leader. Michael Waltrip is in second spot. Larry Pearson is in third. Here they come down for the green flag with 8 laps remaining.
Harry Gant is fourth, the only other car on the lead lap. Harry has been in and out of the pits as they've worked on that problem that he had, which slowed him a little bit. We'll see if they got him fixed or not. He's still in fourth place behind Larry Pearson.
We thought it was an engine problem on Harry Gant. Looks as though it might have been an ignition shorted out, and he's back running again.
The number 70 car there, Sterling Marlin, now just 1 lap down, is in 6th.
Well, he just got past. Well, now he's coming back up. This is Dennis Setzer in the car number 59. They're battling for the 6th position. Now it looks like Marlin might have the advantage. Well, no. Now Setzer comes back on the inside.
Good battle between those two.
Yeah, good run. Dennis Setzer, first time. No, he did run an ARCA race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Ward Burton is lengthening his advantage over second place Michael Waltrip.
Right now, I think Michael Waltrip would be satisfied with finishing second because it's obvious he can't catch Ward Burton. But there's cars behind him who can catch him. Oh, another crash!
The 59 and the 23. That's Dennis Setzer. We were just talking about it there a moment ago, and that's Chad Little in the car number 23.
Both of them are going to drive on, but the caution comes out. Looks like Setzer may not be able to continue. They will race back to the caution now. Nemechek would like to get around Ward Burton and get a lap back, but Ward is going to try to keep him back there.
Well, his spotter has told him, okay, the track's clear. Come on around. It's okay.
Yeah, Setzer is well off the racetrack. The car is not moving, but it is down by the inside wall past the exit of pit road, and here is the replay.
Here we see Setzer come off the corner.
Looks like he gets tapped from behind by Chad Little.
It looks like there was a little bit of a tap from the 23 car, and we see Larry Pearson barely getting by these fellas.
I think maybe Pearson had some damage on the front end of that car, so he may have gotten into Chad. Anyway, it has resulted in Little and Setzer against the wall. Here it is from our speed shot.
How about that?
How about that? And from Bud 1, the airship.
Well, you can see they work, and you're right, Bob. I think Larry Pearson did get into the back of Chad Little. So those 3 cars were running very tight coming off the turn and got together. And a good run stopped here for Dennis Setzer, who's scheduled to drive that car full-time next year, replacing Robert Presley.
There we see Dennis Setzer. That's him taking his helmet off as he looked at the right side of the car. Just see how much damage was done.
It has been a wreck-filled race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It isn't over yet. We'll be back for the finish in a moment. ESPN Speed World being brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. The Bud 1 airship, which has used its eye-in-the-sky camera at more than 50 events this last year, is traveling throughout the country on a national tour, and cameraman George Shafsma has brought us some great shots from the Budweiser Bud 1 airship this afternoon, and we thank him and captains Tony Stevenson and Russ Adams. Well, we're set to go back to green now. They'll get the green flag at the completion of lap 195, so we're going to have 2 more laps of green to determine who's going to win this race. Right now, it would appear that Ward Burton has pretty much things in hands, although Michael Waltrip is in second position and will try to take the lead from Ward. Here's green.
Harry Gant is third, Larry Pearson fourth. Those 4 cars in the lead lap. Ward gets a good jump again.
Got a great jump. Harry Gant, look at this guy. He's in third place, he's looking to take second away from Michael.
Michael got a little bit loose. In fact, they might have got together there just a little bit as they raced for that position. Everybody else up there racing for other positions, and Harry's going to get it.
Harry's going to take it, and there's Larry Pearson coming, trying to take the spot away.
You know, during the caution, Michael Walker was running down on the flat. He might have been close to out of gas. Wonder if it took off for him when they dropped the green flag.
White flag, one more lap to go. Burton in the lead. Here's the battle for second. 3 cars go for second. Larry Pearson.
And he had the power rubbing on the right front. You saw that smoke there a little bit as he went into the turn. But can he hold Michael Walker off? They passed Harry Gant now.
That's probably from the incident that he was involved in with Setzer and Chad Little. But he has second spots. Waltrip third, Gant fourth. There's Ward Burton, who's going to win this race, it appears. Sterling Marlin is right behind him, but a lap down. Burton off of corner number 4. He wins. The second place battle goes to Pearson, third Waltrip, and fourth Gant. Ward Burton has won his 4th Busch Grand National career victory today, his 3rd in 1993. The last time he won was in Martinsville in May. Ward Burton wins the 650-300 here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll be right back with more right after these messages.
Good job. Good job.
And Ward Burton climbs out and celebrates with the crew here in Victory Lane. And look who came over to congratulate him, Joe Bessie. Joe Bessie here to congratulate Ward. Congratulations on an outstanding effort.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. I tell you, my team is the one that deserves this, and they've been working with me all year. And you know, we've had our down times, but they keep on working together as a team, and that's what makes it work.
There were some close calls out there for you, including a couple of near rubs.
Yeah, it really was. When Mark lost it, Mark's such a great driver. I tell you, if I ever get to be a driver he is, I'll be something. But he lost it and was able enough to keep it off of me, and I think that was a turning point in the race for me.
You can hear his voice cracking. An emotional win here, probably the biggest in his career. Ward Burton takes home the lion's share of a $292,000 purse here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Our congratulations to Ward Burton on a fine, fine race this afternoon. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. You can see that Larry Pearson finished in second position. And gentlemen, championship weekend triple. 2 of the races that we have seen so far have been absolutely tremendous. Yesterday's ARCA race was very competitive, and today's race was outstanding.
It was a great race, and both times the champions have not had very good days.
That's right. Steve Grissom, of course, was crowned the champion of this division. He did that without even competing in this event. But he did not have a good race here this afternoon.
Finished 9th place, as a matter of fact. We see Neil Bonnet back in the back, and Phil Parsons with a 40th place finish.
Shauna Robinson finished in 42nd. Now the points. We talked at the early part of the show about how positions could be changed. Well, they did. Craven to second. Nemechek goes to 5th, picking up 2 positions. Ward Burton picks up 5 positions to 6th. And Robert Presley picked up 2 positions, going to 8th. Don't forget, coming up, NASCAR Shop Talk featuring Jeff Gordon. And tomorrow, we'll settle the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship. Will it be Dale Earnhardt or Rusty Wallace? We'll settle it in the Hooters 500 live at 12:30 Eastern Time here on ESPN. For Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Jerry Punch. This is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.